Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's show. So I've shared during the week that today I'll be sharing on who comes first or who's supposed to come first between your partner and the children. So yeah, today we are all about that. My name is Siphamandla and I am your host. So it's a series that is continuing on the first topic of my blended family. And I thought it is very important for us to also further discuss the topic because many blended families are struggling to find balance on who should come first in the family. So, who comes first? Who comes first between your partner and your children? You might be asking yourself. And indeed, this is a reality check question that you need to constantly ask yourselves in balancing your priorities for a happy family. And because it is our progressive agenda to create happy, united, and peaceful families, our Pagoda Family Institute. We felt this is one of the topics that need to be unpacked. And of course, your contributions are welcome. You can comment Ezansi on the comment section. Who's supposed to be coming first in the household? Must be your wife, your husband, or the children. The blended families, or as some people can call it, step families, can be tough at times. I'm taking this from a personal experience, but at the very same time, they can also contribute, you know, or be an opportunity for unique and loving relationships. Sometimes surviving through conflicts can bring people closer together, but it takes commitment, forgiveness, and an open heart. Many couples struggle between deciding who should come first. Abanye ba-understand ukuba kutheni kufuneke sinalo mbuzo of who should come first. Why do I have to choose between my family, or who must be the top priority in their respective families? For an example, I've heard many men joke around that they fall third or fourth in their wives' pecking order after the kids, taking care of the house and their jobs. But for a lot of guys and moms as well, it's not a real joke. Many assume that is the way it should be. After all, being a good parent means putting the kids' needs first, no matter what. And because in this day and age, parents are expected to be more attentive and accommodating to children than ever before. Andithi umzali xa engabahoyanga abantwana iba ngathi like ufumana all sorts of judgments in the society. So now it is expected that one must choose between his or her partner and the children. Sorry. So the reason um, I wanted us to discuss today's topic is because I think many, perhaps most people, have other things and people ranked ahead of their partners. They won't say it, believe me, but they don't have to because siyababona abantu babenza ntoni. So it's easier for us to really know what's happening. And I know that today's topic produces lots of opinions and even more questions on who should come first between your partner and your children. And most people are taken back by this question, like, yeah, it was how can you even think about putting your children second? Yeah, well, I get it, but you have to hear me out. So take along as we're moving along with this topic. ask ourselves this question when we are trying to balance our priorities in life and want to create happy families of our own, And as relationships mature, we tend to stop trying as hard to keep our significant others happy. And then when children come along now, it feels even more impossible to even spend time with your partner anymore because we are busy taking care of the kids. And that is time consuming. Yeah, but now, did you know that working on keeping your marriage and relationship healthy and happy is one of the best things that you can do for your children? I know many of you commented 2 days ago that we must put our children first, But now, what about the relationship that you are in? Let's say you are not even married, but now you are in a stable relationship with your partner. You understand? So now it means now you have to try and pull some strings together so that you make sure that your family structure is balanced. So, as I have said in my last time, as I was introducing this topic on our family talk, if you are in a blended family or intending to blend families, it means you have experience on being a single parent, and probably your children were your top priority for the longest time. But now that you decide to share your life with someone else, perhaps forever, when you get into the new relationship or marriage, then there are bound to be new boundaries. We are forced to think differently and do things differently so that the whole structure can be able to adjust and blend in just perfectly fine. Yes, you cannot expect all of this like to take place overnight, but it's a necessary journey that all of us need to travel if we are going to commit ourselves on building happy and solid family structures. And for what it's worth, believe me, I strongly believe that ranking anything ahead of your partner is the most definite way I know to create mistrust first and instability in a relationship, which often leads to divorce and breakups and always unhappiness for everyone involved, including the kids. So today we are going to dive in to why I, Siphamandla, personally believe that your partner should be your top priority and how it will improve both your family and your children's quality of life. So there you have it. You have my perspective. I believe that we should put our partners on top priority before anything else. Don't judge me, just listen and remember to comment if you're against what I'm saying so that we can be able to have an interactive session. So I love making reference based on my personal life because it constitutes real life experiences. Now, when my parents got married, dad had already 3 kids, from previous relationships. 2 of them were staying at my dad's home, and one, which is my sister, was staying by her mom's home. So this means that my own mother had to play stepmother role to my father's kids. This basically means that I grew up from a blended family, which most of the time things weren't so rosy. Story for another day. Now, as in the cooler, I'm trying to put up all the broken pieces of the puzzle, and I'm thinking that both my parents were not ready, for the journey that they took. And as a result, they both blamed each other for all the wrongs that my family experienced at the time. My mother, on one hand, wanted to be a perfect daughter-in-law and a perfect stepmother, while my father, on the other hand, also wanted her to be the perfect stepmom to his kids and he wanted to remain a perfect son to his parent and a good brother to his siblings. Yeah, now where does their marriage, their relationship feature in the equation? In all of this, they forgot about each other, their relationship. They forgot about why they were together in the first place. Yeah, and so they this means now that they spend most of their married life trying to be perfect for other people, trying to fix things that in most cases were not even broken. So they were fixing and fixing and fixing. And guess what happened to their marriage? It was abandoned, and over time it became invalid. I believe that should should they have taken care of their marriage, uh, should they have protected their love, should they have managed to 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 keep each other's backs, to prioritize each other's presence, our family would have turned out to be the best family of the time. We would have never had to feel negative energies in our home as children, and we wouldn't have to see them living their lives in hate, reluctances, and resentment. In as much as they both tried, Shembazama, they really tried to take care of us. But Kuti, that wasn't enough. That wasn't enough. And I still remember growing up, it even made me to resent even the idea of getting married. It struck my mind that growing up like that, uh, and when people get married, they eventually reach a stage where they don't live their lives for themselves, where they no longer feel attracted to one another. And I never wanted any of that for myself. You see, when your relationship with your partner is not prioritized, it is not nurtured enough, then children suffer the most throughout their childhood to adulthood. This affects their choices in life as they grow up. You don't have to pretend to like each other, in front of your kids, because these two bayakwazi ukuyisensa, and when it happens now, they believe that it's the right way of doing things, and now you'll get to have children who believe that it is okay to live double life and double standard lives for the rest of their lives. A strong, healthy relationship with Tanana is the foundation of any family, especially a blended family. So if you're listening here and you're not in a blended family, don't feel left out, but ithathe related to your situation. Uzibuzba, who am I putting first? Who am I prioritizing in this family? Is it my partner or my children? That question is necessary at this time and age. Doesn't mean whoever that you are prioritizing, you love them more than the other. Ne? Don't get me wrong. So if as a couple you are not taking care of your own physical, mental, and emotional needs, you can't present your best self to your children. Great parenting starts with your own happiness. But before I want us to watch a video that will bring a little light to what I've currently said. And I'm hoping we're going to have more engagement as soon as the video ends. So here it goes.
A blended family, when you define blended families, it's a marriage where one or both spouses bring children with them from a previous marriage or relationship. Sometimes it wasn't a marriage. Sometimes it was, an unwanted pregnancy that, resulted in a child or children, or maybe multiple marriages or something like that. But there's a different dynamic to it. 50% of all families are blended families. But there's also higher divorce in blended families, which isn't necessary. In first marriages or, first relationships, there's marriage and there's children. But in a blended family, there's children and there's marriage. Okay. And the priority of the relationship can get off to a bad start from day one. The children become first. Let me talk to you about this. Marriage is the nucleus of a family, not children. And children are a temporary assignment. They won't be there for a long time. They really won't. And I remember when they put our daughter into my arms, my son into my arms when they were born, and I remember when I put their arm in somebody else's because I did their ceremonies when I married them all. They're gonna grow up. Children are a temporary assignment. And how are they going to succeed in marriage unless they see you succeeding in marriage? And the law of marriage, the first law of marriage is, for this cause a man will leave his father and mother. That means marriage has to be first. It doesn't work in any other place. It won't work as second. It can't be behind your children. Your children are not as important as your marriage. They're not. Because your children are going to go someday. When they're 18, 19, 38, they're going to leave someday. Thank God. And when they leave, they don't want you following them around. I'm just telling you, I have kids. They're grown. My kids are in their 30s. They have kids. I have grandkids. And I'm just telling you, we are very close. They don't want you in their business. They don't want... And what's going to happen to your life when they leave? Will you have given up your marriage for your children and have nothing left? You put your marriage first. You're not doing anything bad for your children. You're doing everything good for your children. Your children feel more secure when you're happy. And they see you happy marriage. Number two, when they see you happily married, you're giving them a vision for their future. Even if there's been problems in the past, they can see a vision of hope for their future. Number three, when they leave, you have a stable life and you won't follow them around because you're emotionally needy. Marriage has to be first. And what that means is, like us, Karen and I was an example, when we were busy, and when our kids were growing up, we were busy. But what we did is, when I got home, we would take a couple of 2 or 3 hours, and it was all about our kids. And we had dinner with the kids. We spent time with the kids. I would take the kids in their bedroom. I'd put them to bed. I had a guitar. I would sing some worship songs with them. We would talk. We would pray. And they always wanted to talk and pray some more, so we'd sit there and talk and pray. And as soon as I finished, I said, now, kids, this is Mom and I's time now. And it would be, 9 at night or something like that. We didn't make our kids go to bed, but we let them read. They couldn't watch TV or anything, but we let them read as long as they wanted to. We didn't care. And we made them read, but we just said, don't walk out the door unless there's some horrible emergency. Don't walk out the door. And they would, and they'd come pick the lock on our door. We had to hire guards and stuff, but it was ugly. And we taught them to respect our time. And on a regular basis, we had a date night. And on a regular basis, once every 6 or 7 weeks, we'd go somewhere for the night and let our parents take care of them. And we didn't have a lot of money, so we'd just go to a cheap motel 30 miles away, and we'd spend a wonderful weekend together. And we prioritized our marriage. And when our children left, we thanked God that we prioritized our marriage. Because we had a strong marriage, and we showed them a strong marriage in the meantime. And again, you may have made mistakes. You may have been through a divorce or two. But I'm saying, it's okay. Let this be the last. Let this be the relationship that you focus on. And maybe if you've made mistakes before, don't keep making those mistakes. And I want to go back and say, listen, there are some awesome blended families. Blended families can thrive. Just like an intact nuclear family, a blended family can thrive. You just need to understand the day one dynamics and understand the laws of marriage don't change. The law of priority says marriage has to be first. A family doesn't build around children. A family builds around marriage. It becomes the nucleus that everything revolves around. Work on your marriage. You're doing your children a favor when you do that. And obviously love your children. Obviously give your children quality time and just lavish them. But I'm saying, but your marriage.
So as you have just said, putting your partner first doesn't mean you are resenting your children, or you do not have affection and love for your children altogether. But it means now you are doing izinto that will surely prioritize your marriage or your relationship, because now being in a healthy and loving relationship will enable you to be better parents to your kids. Do you understand? So most blended families don't often have great success rates. And that is why I felt a need to put this out here. Putting your partner first means considering his or her needs, making decisions that affect the entire household. While it may be difficult for everyone to grasp it at first, making your partner the top priority in your life has nothing to do with levels of love. So people should stop saying that because I choose to prioritize my husband, I don't have love for my children. Prioritizing your partner, I'm going to repeat this, making your partner the top priority is in your life has nothing to do with levels of love. It just means that you decide now to be a responsible person. You have looked at the whole picture, and you envisioned a family, a solid family. Now when you looked at that, you saw that in order for you to have a solid family, there must be love in the whole household. And there can never be love in a household if two parties involved, that is a mother or a father or a husband or a wife or a girlfriend or a boyfriend, are not at the same page. So that is why we need to put it out there, the importance of prioritizing your partner, the importance of prioritizing your marriage, the importance of prioritizing your relationship, because it means now that whatever that may come along the way, you are not going to forget the reason you fell in love. You understand? You are not going to over time fall out of love. You are not going to lose attraction, because now you'll be doing things that you both enjoy. You'll be getting more intimate with one another. Couples should stop doing lento yobathi umuntu ndidiniwe. Stop being tired for the rest of your life, because it seems like now uyaphisa nge-relationship yakho, yabo, uyayiyekela i-relationship yakho. But if you have made a decision of falling in love and remaining in love with that person, then it means that there are things that you need to prioritize, including your relationship and your partner. And 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 because some consider this as consider loving your partner more and kids less, it's not true. Prioritizing your partner does not mean you love him or her more and your kids less, people. It just means that you want what is good for your family. It means now ingqondo yakho is family oriented. You are no longer thinking in front of you, but you are goal driven about the whole situation. You are a family man, you are a family woman. And in order for a family to remain stronger together, there must be love, there must be peace, and most of all, there must be unity. And ukuze yonke loo nto yenzeke, aba bebedibene ngenxa yothando, they must continue loving one another, whether kukho abantwana, whether now they have careers, whether now they are married or not. And remember, this conversation is not only for married couples, because we also we are also aware that kukho couples that are staying together without being married, but that doesn't make them any less of couples. So these conversations seeks also to give information to those couples, so that they know their role in that family structure. Do you understand? So now, because you have decided to be in this relationship and you are hoping to live the rest of your life with this person, means that you have long-term goals. And that is why we need to take small steps each and every day to show our partners how important they are in the bigger picture. Because now, when your partner feels less appreciated, they're bound to feel not needed, and they might go and seek love somewhere else, where when they are going to be when they are going to feel appreciation. And now it's not going to only affect you, but it is also going to affect the kids when that happens. So that is why it is very important that Along the way, as we grow, as we mature as couples, we do not forget why we fell in love in the first place. And we need to keep on revitalizing that, going out at least once a month if you're a busy couple, and as I have said earlier, no matter how hardworking you are, you must always find time for one another as a couple. When you are doing this, you are not only doing this because nina niyathandana, ne? You are doing this so that together you are able to create a more loving and most suitable environment. By doing this, you are both modeling strong relationships. Yes, it is true that children learn how to have relationships by watching the surrounding adults. Even though your first or your previous relationships did not work out, you can still show your kids resilience and great relationship skills now. And the best way to show them this is through the both of you prioritizing one another always. So, as we move forward, we have also gathered some thoughts from different couples on what do they think about this topic. Check it out.
Tends to gravitate and hold on to the child with everything. And so my pull to him was probably pretty unhealthy because he was, in my words, all that I had. And so it was really hard to bring Charles in. Even though it sounded nice, we're gonna get married, we're gonna be a happy family, it's gonna be daddy. It didn't really work out that way. And I really had to walk through some challenges to make the shift and say, okay, he can't be first. This is not gonna work. Really through trial and error, because putting him first wasn't working. It was causing conflict in our relationship.
I came in with the attitude of, I'm the head, I'm the husband, this is my son, my stepson, so everybody needs to follow my lead. But before I got there, they had been together by themselves, I think, for 4 years already. And so it caused a lot of friction in our marriage between us, and then it began to cause friction between me and him. And then ultimately, at one point in our marriage, it was me versus them. And so kind of like a mama bear, just, fought any and everything that got close to that relationship. Our behavior and our mindsets totally had to shift. And we had to really reprioritize mentally the roles as far as, okay, it's God, then it's us, and then it's him, and then help him walk through that.
You've now chosen this person as your spouse. You've made a commitment before God that this is the person you're going to live the rest of your life with. There is a priority that's biblical, and if we don't live with that, if we don't live by that priority, we're cheating our relationship with our husband, because the child is a child. We have to remember that, yes, it's our job and definitely our honor to raise them up as they would go, but they are going to move away. They are going to grow. Our children are adults, and so we know full well they're going to move up and they're going to go away, and their priorities are going to change, and their life is going to be different and away from us, and we still need to maintain and grow our relationship.
Whenever we come together and we're getting along well and feel mutual respect and love, the kids, they like to see that. They really do.
Yeah, they get, and particularly kids in blended families who've had some hurts, they're very scared. Mm-hmm. So you have a situation where if you are not getting along because you're resenting time spent with children, that's actually making them more anxious and nervous. So it's a little counterintuitive. Sometimes the more time you spend together and show that you're having fun and laughing, and it's going to make them more secure.
Really puts about a peace in the home, because the kids want stability, and if we're not grounded in God and He's at the center of it and we're not right with each other, it's all over the place and there's not that stability, and so it's just a mess because whether the kids agree with your discipline or agree with this, and they know now they can't play us against each other. If we've a discipline, they know the other one agrees, but at the same time, we have found our home as we've been doing it this way. There's peace.
It's one of those practical tools that works, and if I can encourage anybody to do anything, for a marriage, is that one little thing can change your marriage, I think.
Yeah. So, Nivile, couples have different views about this, but they are all emphasizing how it's important for couples to always remain together and prioritizing their relationship or marriages because it is good for the kids now. Ne? So now I have really strong feelings about this because if I remember correctly, early in 2018, before we got married, there was a segment of time when my husband and I unintentionally gave our careers a huge share of our time and energy, and the rest got the remainder, including taking care of the kids. Our romantic partnership got the leftover crumbs, and that almost broke us up, And at the time, we're still cohabitating. Do you understand? Now, that's why I feel so strongly that people are playing with fire when they put their careers and kids first and don't pay attention to their romantic partnership. Indima yokukhulisa abantwana, if you're going to put your love life or your marriage on hold because nithi nina nisakhulisa abantwana, then it might take forever. You spend approximately 25 years or more raising your kids. It could be a long drag because especially in our current economical state here in South Africa, especially with multiple children like my husband and I. And if you've neglected your domestic partnership during the time you spent so devoted to your children, you might just end up being virtual strangers at the end of 2 decades. Imagine. And might not even know each other very well. So in the process, yobanithi nikhulisa abantwana, you are losing yourselves in the process. You are losing the whole idea of your relationship. You are losing the touch. Yeah, you may have accumulated resentments in that 25 years or more, sometimes on both sides, by not having your adult needs. And in the end, you didn't do your kids much of a favor, because you didn't give them a model of what a good relationship should entail. Then that leads to them feeling nervous and confused or even frightened about creating committed, fulfilling partnership when they become adults. So whatever that you decide now will indirectly or directly, in fact, will directly affect your children. It will affect their choices as they grow up. So I still maintain that kule generation yethu let us not lose ourselves, let us not lose who we want to become in the process, because abantwana, especially in blended families, abantwana have been there before us, and then now when we meet, we have to also accommodate, the entire structure, including the children. But now, for an example, I don't have to train myself to become the best stepmom, and in the process I neglect my husband kuba mhlambi ndifuna uzishayinisa kuye bengathi ndithanda abantwana bakhe wholeheartedly. Yebo. If I do that, then it means I don't love my husband. It means that I am pretending to be this good stepmother while I'm resenting him or his needs. Same applies to him. If he continues or if he now wants to impress me and wants to be a perfect stepfather to my child while mna and ignorer, then akazospenda most of his life or the rest of his life with my son, because eventually our children grow, as the couples said earlier on. Children grow, they decide to have their own lives. And if we want to be good parents to them, we must teach them now that it is good for a person to choose, understand. That is why in this time and age we have mamazala no tatazala deep emitshatweni yabantu okanye aba-deep kwi-relationships zabantu. It's because they didn't have boundaries while those children were growing up. They are so attached to their kids. I'm not saying it is wrong to be attached to your children, but at least you must be able to create some boundaries. You must know when to stop and let them be, because children also have rights to feel free, and they have rights to love who they are. And if we're the generation that keeps on saying that I am prioritizing my children before my marriage or my relationship, then it means we are the kind of parents who will find ourselves deep into the relationships of our children. Will tend to be evil mother-in-laws and evil father-in-laws that we normally see in the movies. Do you understand? So it doesn't have to get there. You just need to sit down, put your priorities straight, and be honest with yourself. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that love less your children. As I have said that this priority thingy is not aligned to any love levels, but it just means that you are also aware of your own feelings. You are also aware of what you want and what you want for your family. And what is right for your family, the environment that is in harmony. And it can only be harmonious when both parties are on the same page. So yeah, I hope you guys have learned a lot. We might have some glitches here and there because of network, but please keep on trying to learn what you should prioritize first, and keep on learning why should your partner be your top priority than your children. Remember, you are aiming to live the rest of your life with your partner. So if you decide to take a pause now because we're now nabantwana that you want to take care of, when your children go, do you think now nizabe seninexesha eli-right for you guys to get back together and play lovey-dovey? No, it might be a little bit too late for that. So guys, yeah, that is it for today. But before we go, we would love to thank everyone who's been supportive of our initiative. As you all know that we are fighting against gender-based violence, and that is why we saw it necessary for us as the organization to pay tribute to Ukwasa, who was brutally killed by her ex-boyfriend she's from Iduchwa. Let's have a look on what our IT guys had prepared for you to watch.
There's absolutely no reason to keep on smiling, because South African women are dying every day and people are doing nothing about it. I think it's time we stop asking women what to do and ask perpetrators to do better, to be better, and start to treat women the way they deserve to be treated. It's not up to us, it's up to the perpetrators to start doing right. Thank you. The words of the great visibility. And this ungaslahli ngelixesha
El Shaddai Adonai Tatelela Dapela Lela Yomita Ninamem Nitembe Wena Yomit Bugu Bugu Zomu Yazingafika Nitembe Wena Nitembe Wena Banati ngeli kesha elije usikolele isono setu banati ngeli kesha elije ukhona Thixo necebo likhona xa ukhona Thixo nendlela ikhona noma ke Thixo ungawucishanga lowo mlilo kodwa
Yeah, it really didn't have to end like that. That is why we really dislike people who feel like it is not their duty to help those in need, especially GBV victims. It is our duty as the society to let them that we care and to let them that there is life after being abused. It is our duty to encourage them to speak out and do something about the situations that they find themselves in. It really doesn't have to end like this. It didn't have to end like this. Ubom naye bakhe ukwasa. It didn't we didn't have to commemorate her with the hashtags. It doesn't have to reach the hashtag phase if we continue working together and making sure that these GBV acts abantu abazenzayo bayabanjwa abantu abazenzayo, they serve justice, it really doesn't have to end like this. 2 weeks ago, we had two GBV victims who were seeking out for our help, based on the Western Cape. And we are really happy on how the MEC, the Western Cape MEC of Social Development welcomed, the issue. She really went out of her way to make sure that the two victims are helped and kept in safe places. This is the kind of people that we need in society, in our society currently. You can do that too. And people, if we work together, really we will realize a gender-based violence-free society. It's not impossible, it's doable, only if you and I decide to hold hands and stand for what is right. Um, just to ukuvelana no-MEC wase-Western Cape, we have also received the sad news for her, as she lost one of her beloved family members. She is currently grieving. I found out that when I was forwarding another yet GBV victim to her, but she was really willing to pass on the message to other members who are going to help the victim. So we condolences to the MEC of Social Development Western Cape. May you find light and love together with your family. So as sigqibezela inkqubo yethu yanamhlanje, remember the topic was who should I choose? Who should come first, between my husband or my children? And mna ndinguSiphamandla Njeza, and I'm not saying that my views are correct or anyway, but it is what I believe. I believe that you should prioritize your partner. If ungumntu ongutata omameleyo, please prioritize your partner. If ungumntu ongumama omameleyo, please prioritize your partner. Prioritizing your partner does not mean you love your children any less, but it means that you want to nurture your family under harmonious conditions, under harmonious environment, and that is good for development yabantwana as they grow up. When you feel loved, respected, and supported by your partner, you are able to be a better parent. You enjoy reduced stress levels and model healthy relationships for your children. Being in a loving relationship also make you feel good about yourself. It allows for feelings of closeness and connectedness, as well as togetherness. When you put your relationship with your partner first, you are prioritizing